Incredible talks, and you really see the depth and breadth of what's happening here at Ohio State every day. So this afternoon, we are also here to award the university's Innovators of the Year. These awards annually recognize 3 researchers, each at different points in their career, who are actively working to translate university discoveries to commercialization where their work can truly impact people. I would now like to ask Shireen Agrawal and Cheryl Turnbull to come to the podium for the first announcement.
Cheryl Turnbull and I are here to present the Next Generation Innovator of the Year Award. This award is granted to an undergraduate student, graduate student, or a postdoc to recognize innovation and entrepreneurship that contributes to the development of a new technology. We are lucky to work with many of these students through our work with the Keenan Center and the Center for Software Innovation. Because of this, we are excited about the future pursuits of our students. Their passion and energy are truly contagious. However, we can only have one Next Generation Innovator of the Year.
So it is my pleasure and delight to recognize Ian Harris as the 2025 Next Generation Innovator of the Year, nominated by the College of Arts and Sciences. And before we have Ian come to the stage, we'd like to show you a video that highlights some of his innovative work.
Right now, my research is pertaining to sterilizing air, mainly for microgravity environments, by using plasma discharge. I actually started this research working on developing ambient air ion thrusters, because I was just building them in my garage for fun, just to see how they worked, how I could try to optimize them. It was kind of brought to my attention the problem of microbial growth in space, and how that was a big problem because it was degrading foams, causing rashes and hypersensitivities, and even breathing issues for astronauts. It was kind of this light bulb moment of, instead of building it for thrust, we could build the ion thrusters for sanitizing air instead. I currently work with Dr. Horick, part of the Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering Department at Ohio State. He is this way with students of giving them the tools they need to succeed, but not necessarily telling you how to succeed. And I've always appreciated that because it's always helped me grow, especially throughout this research process. Last fall, my brother and I, we started a company called Sparrow Systems. And with this company, we kind of learned from my undergraduate research to develop it into this handheld device. It's fairly effective in actually killing the black mold, the bacteria, the fungi, which you don't oftentimes get this kind of universal type treatment for sterilization processes. So it's exciting to see that the technology could be applied to multiple types of microbes. Our goal is to flight test by essentially next spring, and then to actually get it to start commercializing by next fall.
Congratulations, Ian. Come on up to get your award.
Wow. Hi, everyone. Wow, I am beyond honored for this opportunity and for this award. I want to thank Eric for selecting me for this. And I also want to thank Dean Horn as well as Dean Olsick for essentially putting together my nomination package. But I especially want to thank Cheryl and Ashley Lippincott for putting my name forward to the deans as well. But particularly, I want to thank my family and my friends for coming out here and supporting me tonight. It's been a couple of years, and it's been a very exciting journey working on this technology, building it out, especially working on the company side with my brother. And with research and development, it's easy to forget that you're not in it alone. You always have that group of people to help build you up and support you, even through the tough times. And so I just want to say thank you to you all. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Wow, congratulations again, Ian, that's great. I don't think I've built anything in my garage. I can barely fit all my cars in my garage. But anyways. So it's my pleasure to up here with Kevin and to our final 2 awards for the faculty researchers. These researchers are actively working to advance discoveries or commercialization activities, intellectual property, licensing technology, starting companies, these sorts of things. So these activities are really important to advance our technologies through to make impacts on people's lives and also to support our land grant mission. So today we're here to present the Early Career Innovator of the Year Award to recognize assistant and associate professors. Kevin?
So Paco and I, along with our dedicated teams, are proud to work with these faculty each day. We get to see firsthand the exciting discoveries that they're developing and the innovations they create in their labs. We're also pleased to announce that Professor Eduardo Uriategui from the College of Engineering is a 2025 Early Career Innovator of the Year winner. And before he comes to the stage, let's look at a video showing what happens behind the scenes.
My research here at Ohio State focuses on the development of microtechnologies, biomaterials, and molecular imaging methods for the characterization of circulating biomarkers in biofluids. The overall goal of our program, or research program, is basically trying to provide additional data information to clinicians such that they can have a better diagnostics, better therapeutics for patients. Having here at Ohio State, it was great because we have constant communication with the Office of Technology Transfer, that through the development of IP portfolio, we have been actually interacting with a lot of different companies who are actually interested in either way do partnership with us or even just directly license some of the technology that we have developed in our laboratory. I'm really honored to be winning this award. I really appreciate the nomination of my department and the College of Engineering, and also to Eric for actually selecting me for this award. I'm interested in doing science that can have an impact in the life of people, and I think being in the space of translational research, translational biomedical research is perfect for me, because technology that I can develop in my lab probably can impact the life of many people. So that's really an inspiration for me.
Right. Congratulations, Eduardo.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank again the College of Engineering and my department, Dr. Howard, for nominating me, and obviously the member of the Eric for selecting me for this award. This is a deeply honor for me in particular, and for the past and current members of my lab that actually are the driving force behind all these different innovations in terms of intellectual property that we develop in my lab. And I would also thank the Office of Technology Transfer here at Ohio State, and especially Adam, who is over there. So he has helping us through all the process of initial disclosure, through provisional patent applications, full patent application, and then also the initial contact with companies that may be interested in licensing our technology. And last but not least, I will also thank my family. Unfortunately, they cannot be here. My wife, Adelisa Mame, and my two kids, Ashley and Ethan, for their love and support. Thank you very much.
Congratulations again. And now for our final award. The creation of separate award categories for our faculty and staff with more established research programs allows for the cultivation of an entrepreneurial spirit among all our investigators. Today, I'm pleased to announce that Ohio State's 2025 Innovator of the Year is College of Engineering Professor Sanjay Krishna. Before he comes to the stage, we'd like to show a video with him talking about his research.
The Krishna Infrared Detector Lab, or the KIND Lab as we call it, is basically we train the next generation of infrared scientists and engineers. We have one of the 2 labs in the country that can do everything from essentially atoms to arrays. So we make these infrared focal plane arrays that go inside the chip of advanced systems. So it has applications in aerospace, in defense, in medical diagnostics, and environmental applications, etc. Our core expertise is understanding some of the semiconductor physics and developing some of these sensors, advanced sensors for a variety of applications. Being an entrepreneur, I'm actually a co-founder of a company called SK Infrared. And so the company does a little bit more of engineering and more of technology and product development. You learn a lot from the students, what we call as a Michelangelo effect. It's not that you add stuff for them, you just take away and then the David naturally comes out. But then the reverse side of Michelangelo is that the students shape you. So I've been a professor for 24 years, and I think I'm becoming better and better because you start correlating with this. And being a professor, you always hang around with 20-year-olds who have, essentially no fear, have dreamed, and we all remember when we are idealistic. So I think that's my inspiration, both on a personal and a professional level. It's very humbling to be named as the Ohio State Innovator of the Year. It really captures the essence of what I'm trying to do. It's innovation as a professor, to use the science to train the next generation of students and thought leaders that we have. And as an entrepreneur, to be able to take that innovation into the marketplace. This is the best job to have, have your cake and eat it too, and to be able to do both of those.
Thank you very much. First of all, I do want to apologize. I was late. Being the Ohio State Innovator of the Year still doesn't give you the guarantee that you know parking directions. And so I do want, I'm humbled and honored to be the recipient of this award. I just want to take a few minutes. So professors only speak in 55 minutes or an hour and 25 minutes. So when Don asked me to do this, I said, "Are you sure you're ready to take this risk?" And but I'll keep my comments brief, but I do have a list of a lot of the people who have actually contributed to this. So the two key messages that I want to mention is this award represents, basically it's the tip of the iceberg. You all see the success, but it's behind this, among the iceberg of success, is submerged all the failures, all the mistakes, all the learning opportunities that we have. And the second message is that this award is across space and time. It takes a village to make an innovator, and you will see that this has got decades of things making here, lots of people who have contributed to this. And again, I'm just a recipient of this. So I'd have made a list here so that I don't forget. So I'll walk through 4 sets of people that I would like to recognize for this award. First of all, thank you, Peter, for the leadership at ERIC and the ERIC staff for putting together this great event. The first, I want to acknowledge my immediate boss, Shankar Balasubramaniam. All right, there's Shankar. So Shankar came here about 3 years back, and those of you who don't know, he has a very disarming smile. He also has something called the logical distortion aura. Every time I walk into his office, I come in with problems, he smiles, and I walk away with action items. And I don't know how that happens. But thank you, Shankar, for putting together a very strong nomination package. Also, Emre Koksel. Is Emre here? Emre was the last year's winner for this. He helped put together this nomination package. And just to let you know, Peter, I think we're going for a three-peat next year. So he's in our department, Phil Schneider, the chair of the awards committee, for making this happen. Dean Howard and her staff, Seth Weinberg, Associate Dean for Research. The letter writers, Cheryl Turnbull, who helped put this together. Dr. Tom Burns. There's Tom. He flew in from Ohio State. Also, tomorrow is going to be winning the Dean's Meritorious Award. So a round of applause for Tom. Also, the student entrepreneurs who wrote letters here. So Rami Tantanvi, who's the CEO of a very successful startup company. In fact, I just got back last night from Florida, from the SPIE Defense and Security Symposium. Unfortunately, Rami couldn't be here. He was actually at that meeting. But also, I want to recognize Jonah Mikesell, who just won last week the Presidential Buckeye Accelerator Award. And so again, a big round of applause for Jonah. Adam Jensen, I don't know whether Adam was able to be here. Adam Jensen, who was the winner of the first cohort of the President Buckeye Accelerator. Marissa Cruz, who was in my entrepreneurship class. Again, as I mentioned in the video, we think we are shaping the student, the students are actually shaping us. So Thank you very much. Joel Johnson, who was the chair. So you'll now see the back end of the story. You'll see how I got here at Ohio State. It's been 8 years. Joel Johnson was the chair who hired me, so if you have anyone to blame, that's the person you need to find. And then he called me on April 30th, 2016, to tell me that I had this offer. And then I'm going to tell Steve Ringle's story. So Steve is now, so those of you know Steve, by the way, I do have a pop quiz. What's the difference between Steve Ringle and Steve? You're not allowed to answer this, and Siddharth, if you're in the audience, you're not allowed to answer it either. What's the difference between Steve Ringle and God? God is everywhere. Steve Ringle is everywhere but here. So I was at University of New Mexico. I was a center director. February 2016, I go to this meeting. It's a workshop on semiconductor physics. I've known Steve for a long time. And Steve, I see him in the coffee break, and Steve says, "Hey, Sanjay, we're looking to hire. We're targeting you as a hire. Are you interested?" And Steve doesn't wait to listen to the answer, right? So he says, I said, "Steve, can we just talk in the coffee break?" He says, No, I'm going to Tyndall, Ireland right now. And so the next thing, he calls Siddharth, texts him. Siddharth is actually the chair of the personal committee, and this is February of 2016. And then the next thing I know is I'm coming out here. I interviewed, again, thanks to Dean Williams. Came out here on April 16th. 2 weeks later, Joel actually had an offer for me. So we call this, there's a phenomena, it's called you get ringled. All right, thank you, Steve. But just the way that Steve recruited, again, on a very serious note, the way Steve recruited me here, and this is a lesson in terms of how you want to be recruited, he recruited me not just as a professor, but the whole family. When I came out here, and again, the whole family is here, when I came out here, basically the first set of people that we met, do you know who we met? We definitely met Nesh Shroff at dinner, but before that, we met the Dublin City Superintendent School. We spent an hour. For us, education is very important. So we had 2 boys in 6th and 8th grade, and recruited us, Siddharth and Cherry. Siddharth and Cherry are here. They hosted us at their house. Siddharth had a personal emergency. He had to leave, but Cherry was very graceful, and that's how we recruited. I realized halfway through that recruitment trip, that trip was not for me. It was actually for Sanchita. And so when we went in, and we were staying in the Blackpool, the 5th floor. I remember Sarthak was in 6th grade, and we see the Ohio Stadium. Sarthak is sold. He sees the Buckeyes. He says, "Appa." Appa means dad in Tamil, in our language. He says, "Appa, sign the document." Basically before they change their mind. And so, but thank you. Thanks to Steve, thanks to Siddharth, and Cherry, and Ness, and Jay Sayer, who was, again, Jay Sayer, I don't know if he's here, but he got ringled 2 months before I did. And so he was doing extremely well at Battelle, and the next thing you know, he's suddenly at Ohio State. Thank you, Steve. And but Dean Williams, the university leadership, I think coming out here, I felt very valued. And as I told you, Shankar, not only as if I didn't have enough to do, he just twisted my arm to become the graduate chair. And so Professor Lisa Ferrantoni, my graduate team, Tim Langrader, and then also Beth Booker, who is helping me do this. But also I want to mention that we faculty sometimes get a lot of the accolades, but it's the staff members. So I work very closely with Deborah and Renee Ripley, and I'll tell you about one of the projects that we won. I just came back yesterday from Florida. It's a part of a review that we had for something called a Centroid. It's a part of an Microelectronics Commons project. But so we have the Eric team, but also the department staff. Again, lots to name, but Kyle, Carol, Ray, the College of Engineering. Skylar is an amazing contracts and grant specialist. So one thing I would tell you, faculty members, if you have a good staff member, take them out for lunch. Seriously, it means a lot. When you go and spend a few minutes talking to them, it means a lot to them. So Nanotech West, John Carlin, the director for Nanotech West, Mark Brenner, who's leading our Center for our Semiconductor Epitaxy Analysis Lab, the IMR staff, Joanna Carey, Eric, I mentioned Deborah, IT export control. It really takes a village. So thank you very much. Second set of people that I would like to thank are my teachers and mentors. So in India, in Sanskrit, we have multiple words for teacher. most common one that you see here is called guru. Guru is not someone who teaches you. He basically shows you the light. He removes, gu basically means darkness, and ru is light. So again, I've had a lot of mentors. Again, I won't mention all of them here, but my PhD advisor, Professor Paula Bhattacharya, my college professors, Professor G. Venkatraman, Rajkumar Jain, who instilled a love of physics in me. From early on, my primary school teachers, Mrs. Tangama, Mrs. Roy, who taught me about science, and a whole host of collaborators. So if you want to build a research innovative program, you need 4 things. You need very strong ideas. We all have ideas, about 90% of our ideas. We have 100 ideas a day. 90 of them are useless, and 5 of them are wrong. 3 of them are dangerous, and it's only 1 or 2 of them that really count. So you need a network of people who will stress test your idea. You also need a whole host of collaborators who can actually make this happen. You need equipment. So in our, we use something called molecular beam epitaxy, which is also popularly known as mostly broken equipment, and MBE. We're getting a $2.5 million reactor, and it's very, very sensitive, very, very finicky. So you need people, you need infrastructure, but also what you really have is you need the team. And so that's my third set of people I would like to thank. So I would like to request all the members of the Krishna Infra Detector Lab and also the people at SK Infra to please stand. And this is the team that, again, please a big round of applause to them. Thank you. These are the real heroes. Again, Poonam, Sophie, and Mike are actually at the SPIE meeting. So they are actually the reason behind this. And also, what you see here is it takes, initially you do the science, but then being an entrepreneur, as I mentioned in the video, you also get to do applied work. So I'm actually really an applied physicist by training. The Innovator basically captures the essence of what I am. I'm really a faculty entrepreneur. I love the science, I love the students, but I also want to do, I'm also a control freak, by the way. And so I really want to take my technology out to the market. And I think the way you do it, the best way to create the future, to predict the future is to create it. So, and again, Earl Fuller, and I'll tell you some of the stories that where we had with SK and Fred. And finally, in the last couple of minutes that I want to mention are the real heroes behind this, because it takes friends and family to make this happen. And we've had a lot of friends, and again, this part is going to get emotional, so bear with me. But again, friends from college. We lived for 16 years. Zeke mentioned Albuquerque, New Mexico. I just moved here for the bright sunlight to Columbus, Ohio, when I got wrinkled. And we're there for 16 years, but came from grad school. And then we moved here. We got a great circle of friends, but also one very, very special friend. I met her in college 28 years back in a dance party, Dr. Sanchita Krishna. She's, again, the inspiration behind my work, and thank you for being there. And so, again, we all, again, being a dance partner, you realize that you're always needed constant support, constant feedback, and encouragement. Thank you very much. When we moved here, when you have 2 kids, they're 6th and 8th grade, it's a big decision. And Sanchita backed me up every moment of the way. And when Surit and Sarthak came here, and they were in 6th and 8th grade, and Surit and Sarthak, you make everything happen. That's you make it worthwhile. And so if you don't know some people ask me, what is SK? Who's SK and SK Infrared? We initially Sanchita and I co-founded this company 15 years back. We called it Skinfrared. Initially, the idea was to use infrared imaging for skin cancer. When we came out here, and this is a story now I'm going to reveal some of my secrets, and Tressa knows that, June 2018, we were looking down the barrel. We had negative cash flow. Earl was the CEO of the company. We wrote personal checks. We didn't have money for payroll. We took a line of credit. Today, this morning, Tressa just texted me, we are very, very financially healthy. We just won a phase 2 Navy SBI award. So what you see is the success. What you don't see is all the struggles that went behind that. And Sanchita took a step back in her career, made the transition happen. And Surit and Sarthak, again, I've learned a lot from you guys. Surit, calling people out, especially people you love, is very, very hard. And again, I'm a first generation, I'm actually an immigrant. Our kids are first generation, came here and when they're 23 years old. We have cultural differences. Those of you immigrants in the room will realize this. We have cultural differences, we have generational differences. And again, thanks for teaching me and turning out to be this wonderful person that you are. One other thing, big lesson that I've learned from you is embracing the thought, your parents are not perfect. Your parents are human. We make mistakes. And it's really, really important to recognize that. Sarthak, you're an amazing person. By the way, I have to officially admit, I have something embarrassing to admit. I have to give this award to Sarthak Krishna. How many of you played this game called Splendor? Manisha is the one who gave us this. It's a very strategic game. I'm 0 for 19 against Sarthak. I'm embarrassed to mention that I even watch YouTube videos. Last night when I came back from Florida, I lost 2 more games. So the real original Ohio State Innovator is here. I read a very interesting interesting remark on a refrigerator magnet, which basically said, success is when your kids want to come back home. And thank you. Your home is always here. I also want to acknowledge my brother, Dr. Vijay Krishna, and my nephew couple who are here. They flew in from DC, the commanders. Couple just graduated early got his degree in electrical and computer engineering, graduated and from Carnegie Mellon University. And so again, we are a family of overachievers. Surit is pursuing his dual degree in neuroscience and vocal performance. He actually wants to become a real doctor, unlike his dad, a neurosurgeon. And Sarthak is a freshman here at Ohio State in electrical and computer engineering. So mom got one, dad got one. But also my brother, again, he's 4.5 years older than me. Those of you who have an older sibling, they mess with you every time. And they meddle everything. In fact, my name was given by my brother. He said, I have a friend named Sanjay, and I think that's what we should be. But thank you for being there. Thank you, Vijay, for being there. One thing I would like to mention that whenever we have forks in our life, we make choices. So when I was finishing my degree, I was deciding whether I want to go and get an MBA from the Indian Institute of Management or come and get a degree PhD in physics from University of Michigan. And Vijay told me to stay technical. And so that was actually a great thing. And finally, I want to mention 2 people who are not in this room here, my parents. My mom, she's got an early onset of dementia. My parents grew up in India in a very, very remote village. So this innovation that you see, again, started decades back. She came in, she was the inspiration, she was the rock of her family. She worked for 42 years, and she was a personal secretary and realized the importance. Youngest of 4 children. She came in, immigrated to Bhopal, which is our home country, our hometown, where I was born, didn't know the language, learned there. And then when I surprised her at her retirement party in 2008, when she turned 60, it turned out that my biggest memory was the cleaning lady came in with a picture of Indira Gandhi, the first female prime minister. And she said, you're the inspiration for me. So my mom, unfortunately, she had an early onset of dementia. Thank you, Vijay and Priya, for taking care of her. But it's again, I take this on this. And finally, my dad, who we lost about 10 years back. He's the original innovator. He was fascinated by America. He always felt this was the place. He instilled a culture of education and innovation in our kids. Both my parents are 10th standard. They're high school dropouts, not because they couldn't study more, but because the family needed money. And both of us have are doctors. Sanchita is a doctor. My sister-in-law has an advanced degree. And again, it's the source of education. Finally, before I conclude, I do want to mention that I've been at Ohio State for 8 years. We are right now the premier institution for infrared detectors. I just came back. We just got this project, again, from the Microelectronics Commons. Siddharth and Steve are a part of MITech. And we got a project called Center for Technology Transition and Rapid Prototyping of Infrared Detectors called Centroid. It's a $37 million program. Ohio State, SK Infrared, there are 2 companies in Santa Barbara. The Navy is working on top of it. It's a very, very fast-paced project. Universities it's very hard to deal with. But right now, we just had a fixed firm price contract, so we have a 4-hour technical review that we had here. And we are planning to have a workshop in here. This is a very, very critical technology. And I'll tell you a little bit more about this. Right now, if you look at the Department of Defense, there's a lot of critical technology associated with large format focal plane arrays. So we are doing stuff which is right at the boundary. We are making these large format focal plane arrays, and right here, working with the team here. So one thing I want to mention, and I'll close with this, is again, this is hearsay, but when I was recruited here, and I don't know, Siddharth is over here. So Siddharth is one of those smart people where he reads your paper and he explains it to you like, who is the corresponding author? And so when I was being recruited, Ness, who is here, apparently this is hearsay, I was not in the room, he said, tell me what clever thing Sanjay has done. Remove all the awards, remove all the funding, those are inputs. Again, obviously the students are the important thing. And Siddharth had read my paper, and the NBN paper that is basically a quantum engineered superlattice that we have is actually flying right now in the International Space Station. And that particular design that we wrote. And so what Siddharth said was, and I think Siddharth, I may be paraphrasing you, but he said, we get Sanjay here, we'll be the #1 program in the country in 5 years. It's taken us 8, but I think we are the #1 program in the country. And all I would like to say to the Ohio State community, the state of Ohio community, thank you for making us feel so welcome, our whole family feel welcome. The best is yet to come. Thank you very much.
So I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon. No matter what role you play with us at Ohio State, you each play an important part in ensuring the research, innovation, and knowledge continues to be alive and well at Ohio State, and for that, I thank you. On behalf of the entire team of ERIC, we look forward to continuing the work to deliver on the university's commitment to excellence and impact. Thank you, and have a great evening, and refreshments are out front. Thanks again.